everyone, Juan Romero here from SwitchWatch. Hope you're enjoying your day so far. What a week we've had, everyone. Had this game drop, Zelda, so make sure you check out our review on that. Dragon Quest, which we're just unfortunately not going to get the time to do. On top of that, the Nintendo Switch Lite, and boy oh boy do we have a giveaway for you ladies and gentlemen, so make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification if you're new here. We're going to have a video going live soon explaining what you need to do and what we're giving away. I promise you're going to be wanting to be around for that. So back to this game. I played this back on PS3 a decade ago or so, put in over 60 hours back then. When I didn't have a family and had more time. For those of you that don't know, this was a project of passion. Level 5 and Studio Ghibli really outdid themselves. Back then it was rightly applauded for having incredible art style, and it certainly shows in both the visuals and the music, which we will delve into in a bit. For this review, as I'm already familiar with the game, and I'm sure quite a few of you may be also if you're JRPG fans, well, I'm going to start on the performance. I wanted to start there just to check out any performance issues and to make sure it is a decent port. Let's make one thing clear, this is not a remastered version like on the PS4 that's coming soon. In fact, it's a port of the original. There will be that remastered version coming later on in September. It's a real shame it didn't make it to the Nintendo Switch, but this is one game that probably gets away with it somewhat due to the visuals it already has, which are in one word, stunning. And I'm glad it's on the Switch, I have to say. The animation was storyboarded and created by Studio Ghibli, who certainly show their expertise here. I always loved the beauty of this game, and it reminds me a lot of Naruto. The artwork is just fantastic, from the places you visit to the characters themselves, and I love the animations, which are beautiful to behold and add so much life to the world, especially in towns when you discover them. Watch the NPCs, for example, and their little movements in the background. They're never static, even when they're stood still. They're moving slightly. The environments are something to behold, truly stunning in every way, and still look great even now, though it's 720p both in docked and handheld. A bit of a shame, but hardly noticeable. Everything is dripping with detail and is colourful. The wonderful light colour palette really makes you want to dive into this game and explore it to its fullest. And I remember fondly never tiring of exploring the game when I played it back on the PS3, and I enjoyed it again on the Nintendo Switch. I had the benefit of testing the game on my Nintendo Switch in docked and in handheld, and also on the new Nintendo Switch Lite, which I bought for my daughter, and performance was absolutely fine. I did encounter some small bugs. About 4 hours in, there was a part when I needed to follow a familiar and it got stuck, so I had to restart the game, which was rather annoying, but it did sort out the problem. When I say restart the game, I don't mean the whole game, just from the save. I have heard others having issues with the music. We'll chat on that in the music section of this review. For those of you new to this game, I'm now going to cover it as if it was a normal review. In terms of the story, if you've never played this, then have a box of Kleenex by your side, because the story in this game I always found to be rather emotional. Who am I kidding? In the first 20 minutes I was a man reduced to a bit of a quivering wreck, but don't tell anyone I said that. You as the protagonist are a young boy named Oliver, doing what young boys do. Then something very unfortunate happens which changes your whole life, which I don't want to give away here, as you need to experience it for yourself. Suffice to say, Oliver cried a lot, and as he does, one day into his teddy Drippy, it comes alive, and you begin an amazing adventure together in both your world and a parallel one. Shadar, the evil queen who is absolutely tearing the world that Drippy is from apart, and you are somehow seen as its saviour. A lot of the story is voice acted through its cutscenes, and I love these interactions between Drippy and Oliver and other characters dripping with personality that you're going to meet along the way. Drippy with his accent is especially hilarious at times. The story for the most part is superb, although there are some issues in terms of pacing which do hamper it, but are not enough to spoil my enjoyment. Get used to that 3 or 4 hour tutorial at the beginning. Now, if you've played JRPGs in the past, then this is going to have everything that you love. Exploring in the game is a joy, and while the story is quite linear, you can often get distracted off the beaten path by taking on side quests to help people. There are all sorts of game mechanics, from spells to take heart and give heart to those in need, often helping with their enthusiasm, for example. Then in combat, things are a little different to what you may be used to. You can move Oliver around, dodging attacks and looking out when to defend and finding opportunities to unleash your spells. I really like the system and always remembered the game for being a little bit different. Then there are the familiars, which are plentiful. Some love this system, others don't, but I quite like having the option to choose a familiar, named James or Jordan of course, and using their abilities to defeat certain foes. The only thing people find frustrating is the health and MP is shared between the party. One of your familiar dies, you lose the whole fight, which can be painful at times, especially when you take on a new familiar that you may not be familiar with. There are your standard attacks and spells, and then there are those specials, and everything you have played in a game like this before has its cooldowns to contend with. So it's all about how well you deal with your timings and making sure that you take enough of the enemy's HP before they destroy you. One thing people may find frustrating is the amount of fights that you encounter between each destination. At least here you can see your foes on your travels, so you can look to avoid, but sometimes there's no chance to avoid these fights, even if you want to. While the game looks super cute, it is bloody difficult at times, and you will get stuck sometimes for about 30 minutes or so before deciding you may need to go back and level up a little bit more, or get some coin to get better gear before taking on that boss that has defeated you for the umpteenth time. Bosses are cool looking and challenging. In fact, the whole game is rather challenging, which is great, requiring you to grind a little to level both yourself and your familiars up. I could talk about the game's plentiful mechanics all day long and things that you can do, but we'd be here for a very long time, and this is rather an old game already, and I'm sure that if you've played it, then you're going to know quite a bit about it already. For those that have not, trust me when I say it's a very enjoyable JRPG, bringing all the things you like in the genre into one package. There are dungeon-like areas you'll come across in your travels, full of monsters to defeat, and the world is open, so you can travel almost anywhere you like, but bear in mind there are areas that are not going to be accessible until you complete a certain task, defeat a certain boss, and there are certainly lots of whimsical things you can do in this world. Now, as I said, there are some tough sections in the game, and while there are enough checkpoints, some sections will have you pulling your hair out, but persevere and the rewards are plentiful, so don't give up. I hope you don't give up well before the 35 to 40 hour run time. Of course, there are items galore, sandwiches to keep your health up, coffee for MP, and you can even treat your familiars with chocolate in your creature cage. There is a handy journal to check your progress, the wizard's companion is awesome and in depth, and the telling stone if you need any lessons on your way. So there is enough depth to keep you happy for sure, and you can easily put in 100 hours plus with no problems with all the side stuff that you can do. In terms of the music, it's fantastic. It was composed by Joe Hisaishi, sorry if I've pronounced that wrong, who is renowned for creating some excellent works, and this is right up there with some of the best I've heard in a JRPG. The backing tracks were made using an orchestra, and it really adds to a sense of grandeur to the game. While you travel around, it feels like a wonderful, whimsical land, which of course matches the great visuals that you're traveling through. It's top-notch stuff, and on top of that, you have some very good voice-acted parts throughout, and you'll certainly remember some of the characters here for a long time. The story is well written and made more impactful due to the voice acting present. In terms of the value, the game was released on the Nintendo Switch with a AAA price tag, with an asking price of $49.99 in the USA and £49.99 in the UK, so no exchange rate taken into account here, which is a shame. So buy it in the USA if you're based in the UK and looking to buy digital. For those of you that are collectors, then there is a physical edition too, which I will list in the description, that you can buy from Amazon, which is about £42.95. That's the option I would go for without a doubt, as it is cheaper, and as I say, if you're a collector, absolutely ideal. In terms of my verdict, while the game is an older port, it's easy to recommend to JRPG fans who would like to revisit this land, or for those who have never played the game before. It's certainly fantastic in handheld and taken on your travels. For me, it was a wonderful memory to come back to. The visuals are stunning, music work on par with the best. It has a story that keeps you intrigued, especially with the impactful beginning, and the gameplay, while at times can be a little frustrating, to this day is gratifying. There are some small bugs that need to be ironed out that I did come across, but nothing a restart and starting from a save point won't sort out. With everything out this month, you may want to wait for a sale, because boy oh boy, those wallets are being emptied and you may not want to pay full price right now. But if you do, you will certainly get your money's worth. From me, an 8.5 out of 10. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this review, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. You're going to want to stay tuned, because we've got a great giveaway coming up soon. What do you think about this game? Leave me a comment down below. Are you going to be picking this one up, or what have you picked up this month? Because September is a killer. Too much stuff coming out. You just don't know where to turn sometimes, because there's so many great games coming to the Nintendo Switch right now. Look forward to your thoughts. My name is Juan Romero. I'll see you again on the next one. Take care.